Scott Timberg, Culture Crash, The Killing of the Creative Class. In A Culture Crash, The Killing of the Creative Class, Scott Timberg delves into the decline of the once thriving creative class and the impact on society. The book highlights how the creative class was supported by the middle class and the infrastructure that emerged from it: museums, universities, bookshops, record stores, and critics. However, as economic uncertainties plague the 21st century middle class, art forms like jazz, dance, and poetry have lost much of their audience. Alongside this, the rise of the internet and the monopolization of culture by a wealthy few have diminished the prospects of the average artist. Timberg's exploration underlines the essential characteristics of the 20th century creative class and the necessary steps to revive it.
The rise and decline of the middle class in art and culture. The arts experienced a golden age in the mid-20th century, thanks to a growing middle class. The accessibility of cultural centers and institutions such as museums, universities, and bookshops provided the necessary infrastructure for artists to thrive. However, the 21st century has seen the middle class lose interest in cultural pursuits while internet retailers have taken over the selling of books, music, and movies, making it harder for struggling artists to make a living. As a result, the diversity of the creative class is dwindling, with only the wealthy now able to practice and support the arts. The book highlights how a thriving creative class is vital for a healthy society, but this is only possible with a strong middle-class audience and infrastructure. The evolution of Middlebrow culture. In the 20th century, the middle class gave rise to a mass audience for works of substance which came to be known as Middlebrow culture. Over time, the term has taken on a negative connotation, referring to mainstream and stodgy works. Previously, it showcased art and literature to the masses, with prominent figures like poet Robert Frost, author James Baldwin, and conductor Leonard Bernstein appearing in television programs, and jazz pianist Thelonious Monk and choreographer George Balanchine featuring on the cover of Time magazine. The Middlebrow culture saw art as a means for self-improvement and attracted a broad audience to works of value. The vitality of cities in cultivating artistic scenes. The middle-class culture during the mid-century era thrived because the economic, educational, and media systems in cities made it possible. Struggling artists could afford to live in urban areas that provided supportive institutions, a receptive population, and vibrant cultural hangouts. Poets, writers, musicians, and artists gravitated to cities like Boston, Los Angeles, Austin, and Seattle, where they could live inexpensively and share their art with the public. In addition to developing their talent, they could work in bookstores and record shops that served as cultural curators, exposing them to another layer of creativity. Universities opening across the U.S., the GI Bill subsidizing education for veterans, and public television providing access to cultural programming, all help to promote cultural life by inspiring and supporting artistic movements. However, the dwindling popularity of bookstores and the decline of print journalism threatens the survival of cultural curators, while electronic media's impact on display cultures continues to overwhelm the state of traditional 21st century culture. The creative class's struggles. The 21st century has seen the conditions that supported the creative middle class disappear. On the heels of a weakened economy and rise of anti-intellectualism came technological advances that eliminated traditional creative jobs and shopfronts. Record and video shops, bookstores, and newspapers have shuttered, leading to a major shift in urban context and culture. Many creatives now freelance and can't afford to congregate in cities, resulting in decreased innovation and a loss of arts. While the internet was initially hailed as a force for good for independent artists, it has come with its own challenges. Performing all the tasks that a corporation once did, artists now struggle to earn a decent wage, losing approximately half the income of label-affiliated artists. With the demise of print comes a sharp decrease in jobs, and news outlets have let go 80% of arts critics and reporters since the 20th century's end. The creative entrepreneurial spirit lives on, but it struggles to thrive in a digital world with uncurated amateur reviews and online algorithms driving cultural recommendations. Anti-intellectualism in art. In the 21st century, a resurgence of anti-intellectualism in America has resulted in many viewing art as frivolous. The creative class is seen as snobbish, and intellectuals subscribing to arcane theories have added fuel to the fire. This attitude has spread through popular media, with newspapers dropping symphony reviews for celebrity profiles and critics focusing on consumer culture instead of aesthetics. The rise of the internet further entrenched this casual tone, with critics reflecting the masses' tastes and treating art as merely a part of commerce. This environment has led to the emergence of poptimists, who prioritize commercial value over artistic worth. The repercussions of this anti-intellectual trend are significant, as culture risks becoming a luxury. The dominance of blockbusters. The 21st century has seen a shift in focus towards the economy and the arts. This shift has resulted in a winner-take-all structure, where the top earners take the majority of the profits. The same trend is observed in the music industry, where the top 5% of rock bands earn 90% of concert revenues. This shift towards blockbusters has resulted in an unsustainable business model. Hollywood studios have been producing films focusing on superheroes and video games, while the music industry limits playlists to songs approved by focus groups. However, crowdfunding through platforms like Kickstarter and Indiegogo provides an alternative for funding original, non-blockbuster projects. Although its viability in the long run is uncertain, these new funding mechanisms have given creative individuals a way to produce culturally diverse and unique projects without relying on blockbuster models. Reviving the arts for a connected and vibrant community. The arts and middle class need to reconnect to support art, revive the Middlebrow ethos, and give everyone access to works of aesthetic quality. The business world must cultivate a new class of clerk connoisseurs for gatekeeping. The public sector must update cultural stimulants, such as subsidies for news organizations. Art improves society by making it more alert, alive, compassionate, and connected to past and present. A community that nourishes poetry, jazz, galleries, and novels is more vibrant.
The critical message in A Culture Crash revolves around the crucial connection between the arts and the middle class. As the middle class in the 21st century faces economic insecurity, the creative class has suffered, with artists finding it increasingly difficult to make a living through their work. Timberg emphasizes the importance of the Middlebrow ethos and reintegrating the arts into society, through accessible works of aesthetic quality and depth. To revive the creative class, Timberg suggests that businesses must cultivate a new generation of cultural gatekeepers, the public sector must step up support, and we must reconnect the arts with the middle class. By doing so, we can restore the vibrancy and richness that the creative arts bring to society as a whole.